Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is binti and my metric number is 077540. Today I would like to explain about the subnetting calculation that I have made. There are 4 subnet that I have calculated based on the question. From the question, it has provided the IP address which is 172.16.0.0/20. So first I have find the binary number by using manual method and also calculator. Let's go through the subnet A, which is 500 hosts and it is the largest block among other subnets. First we have to find the subnet mask, which is prefix length, and the formula is 2 to the power of 32 minus the power of the nearest number with 500. So the answer is 2 to the power of 23. So we get the 23 as our new prefix length. Then we can find the network address and also broadcast address. The network address can be found by keeping the first 23 bits and changing the rest of the bits to zeros. So we can get the final answer is 172.16.0.0/23. Next, for broadcast address, the broadcast address also can be found by keeping the first 23 bits and changing the rest of the bit to ones. So we can change the rest all to 1. The answer in IP address is 172.16.1.255/23. After we get the network address and also broadcast address, we can find the usable IP range, which is first usable IP address and last usable IP address. The first usable IP address is the first IP address after the network addresses. So to find the IP addresses for first usable, we have to take the network address and plus 1. So we get 172.16.0.0/23. For last usable IP address, it is the last IP address before broadcast address. So we have to take the broadcast address that we get before and minus 1. So we get 172.16.1.255/23. So let's go through to the next subnet. The subnet B is 200 hosts. To know the IP address that we will use is we look at the latest subnet. Since the subnet A ends at 172.16.1.255, the next block will start at 172.16.2.0. It is because after we plus 1, we will get the IP address, the last IP address is 255. After we plus 1, we get 256. After changing 256 to the binary number, we get 9 bits. So we have to change it and it becomes 172.16.2.0. So we use that as our new IP address. As usual, we will find the prefix length first by using the same formula and we get the answer is 24. Second, we find the network address and also broadcast address. Just now we get the 24 as our new prefix length. So we will keep the first 24 bits and changes the rest of the bits to 0. Same goes to broadcast address. We keep the first 24 bits and also change the rest of the bits to ones. So network, we get 172.16.2.0/24, and the broadcast address we get 172.16.2.255/24. Then we can find the usable IP range. The usable IP range is 172.16.2.1/24. It is because we take from the network address plus 1 And for last usable IP address, we take broadcast address -1 and I get 172.16.2.254/24. Subnet C is 100 hosts. Since the broadcast network at the last subnet, we get Since the broadcast address at the subnet B is 172.16.2.255, so we will use 172.16.3.0 as the new IP address in subnet C. To find the prefix length, we also use the same formula, and the answer we get 25 for the new prefix length. For the network, I get 172.16.3.0/25. After changing the rest of number to 0 and the broadcast address, I get 172.16.3.127/25. For usable IP range, after +1 at first usable IP address, I get 172.16.3.1/25, and for last usable IP address, after -1, I get 172.16.3.126/25. And lastly, for subnets with 50 hosts, we use the new IP address 172.16.3.128. It is because the previous IP address at broadcast address is 172.16.3.127, and after we +1, we get these numbers. Then we change it to binary number to make it easier when we want to change it to the network address and also broadcast address. After calculate the prefix length, I get 26, and then we can go through to the network address and also broadcast address. Because of the prefix length is 26, so we have to keep the first 26 bits and changing the rest of the bits to zeros. The answer is 172.16.3.128/26. And for the broadcast address, we have to keep the first 26 bits and change the rest of the bits to ones. And the answer is 172.16.3.191/26. Lastly, its usable IP range, I get 172.16.3.129/26 to 172.16.3.190/26. That's all my explanation from my calculating. Thank you.